Welcome back, everybody, to the Tuned Vegan in the Tuned Kitchen. You may hear a sound in the background. I'm making soy jerky again. Yep. Probably make that now every single week, if not every few days. Well, we won't get to that yet, but today, something very special I've wanted for a very long time. Lasagna. If you've missed lasagna because of maybe cheese or such, then guess what? There's a great alternative. Yes, same noodles. Of course, I always choose gluten-free. Been there that way for 6 or so years. But noodles, layering the sauce. If you know how lasagna works, basically taking noodles in a pan like this and layering it with sauce and vegetables. And I'll describe what I have here in a moment. And one thing that makes lasagna very special, and it's something that a lot of people who become vegan said, we can't ever get the same taste, ricotta cheese. Well, I've got to thank Simnett Nutrition for showing me that you can have a great substitute in tofu. And I'll show you how he did it, and hopefully you can get the same exact results. So, come on over to my kitchen, and I'll show you what's going on. So here are the players. I've got a pan that hopefully will fit these noodles. Of course I got the noodles. Layered in between these noodles will be some pasta sauce. I chose a no sugar added one. I tend to do that a lot because I don't like extra sugar and everything, and I really want to taste the more savory part of this sauce. I have 2 cans of diced tomatoes, one with green chilies and one without salt. I don't need salt because we'll be adding salt if we need to taste. And of course there's going to be cheese on top, cashew cheese, always the best. And for vegetables that I'm actually going to mix in with the tomato sauce and chopped diced tomatoes, I have some zucchini and squash, almost forget that I cooked last night. And of course Derek mentioned this in his video about using the mushrooms, and I chose some baby bella mushrooms. Chop those up finely. That's all going to be mixed together in a bowl. So that's going to be going in between all of the layers of pasta. But more importantly, the fake ricotta cheese, which is going to be tofu, a tablespoon and a half of spices. I'm using a 21 season salute from Trader Joe's. It basically has all the Italian spices that I need, as well as some onion and such. I'm going to use a teaspoon of garlic powder, a little bit of pepper to that, and of course, the greatest thing on earth, nutritional yeast. There'll be 2 tablespoons of this. So, first thing I actually have to do is break up the tofu. So let's try to do that right now. All right, let's make our ricotta. Here's the tofu I'm using. I got firm, extra firm will work just as well. Actually, the grocery store only had firm for some reason, so it's been selling like hotcakes, I guess. So take this, hands are nice and clean, and I'm just going to crumble this thing up. Add some seasoning in. I'm going to start off with the 21 season salute. I'm actually going to take this cover off so I can get to it. It says a tablespoon and a half. We'll see, maybe that'll be good. Yeah, that looks good. Garlic powder. It says a teaspoon. The greatest ingredient ever, nutritional yeast, already has the tablespoon in it, because that's how I roll. Every day this gets used. 1, 2, 3, no. and a little bit of black pepper. I'm just going to put a little bit on top. All right. Now instead of getting my hands dirty again, I'm going to use something to blend it. Wow, those spices. Kind of getting up my nose. Whew. Looks like we're ready to go. Now let's make the lasagna. So the whole purpose right now is to take our mushrooms, which I'm going to chop up with this cool little device. I think it's just called the chopper. Take these other vegetables I cooked, as well as tomatoes and sauce, and mix it all together in here. Now this is going to layer between the noodles and the fake ricotta cheese, the tofu thing. So, I gotta get chopping. Add in zucchini and squash, diced tomatoes, I'm going to add half of this, because we might need a little bit more, especially on top. So it looks about good. All right, mix time. One of my favorite things to mix with, it's actually a drumstick. Yeah. Hopefully that's not too loud for everybody. And get mixing. Wow. All right. So, we've got this completed. We got our ricotta completed. The only thing left to do is to build the lasagna. So let's get right to that. First thing I'm going to do, notice I left half a container of the sauce. I'm just going to put a little bit of sauce on the bottom. The noodles I have do not need to be boiled. Usually they say on the side oven ready. I'm just going to basically put sauce down, and I'm going to layer the noodles on top. You do need to have a little bit of sauce and some sort of liquid because they still need to cook, but you don't have to go through the whole boiling method that people used to do a lot. They've kind of pre-cooked them a little bit. So I'm just going to layer a little bit of this sauce. I want to make sure I have a little bit left for the top, and I'm going to spread it out. There we go. And start adding the noodles. There we go. So I guess usually these containers come with 12 noodles. So you get these 3. In this size pan I was able to fit 3, so we're going to have 4 layers, right? Now, take some of my vegetables and just spread them across. Honestly think I might not be able to fit all layers on this, but I'm not cooking this in a traditional oven. It's actually going to be in an air fryer / toaster oven, so cooks much better. and add the ricotta layer. Make sure to pat it down so that you get it nice and even. There we go. Wow. The other thing, the reason why I'm using this size pan is also because the toaster oven is much smaller than a regular oven. But I will have a drip pan just in case this decides to get a little bit over that. This might actually make a good half. So, next layer. And this might actually be our last layer, surprisingly. Wow. Got to make sure I have everything covered because these noodles need to soak up this liquid. And a little bit of our tofu ricotta. Of course, everything's going to bake down, so something that looks overflowing now is going to be much smaller when it actually cooks. So it'll cook down in the pan. So this thing is pretty full right now. Used all of that. I've got a little bit left of this, but I'm not going to fit. I'm just going to try to see if I can fit some of these corners in here. Use all your ingredients up. All right. So glad it has these edges. Last thing, I'm going to open my cheese up. This is just going to little sort of thing on top, and take the rest of my sauce. I just want to cover this fake ricotta up just so that it gets soaked into this, because we all know tofu likes to take the flavor of whatever spice or sauce you mix with it, and I just want to make sure that it has the chance to take the flavor of this stuff and it gets to cook in with it. Wow. Look at that. Wow. Last cashew cheese on top. Best way is just to hold your hand up as like a little shield and just shake the bag. Could skip this altogether and just put more nutritional yeast or not do anything. I think this gives a little bit, if this melts properly, it'll give a little bit of a crust on top. And that's kind of what I remember eating lasagna so many years ago. All right, well, it's now off to the oven. If you have an oven, you could preheat it. I believe Simnett Nutrition mentioned 350. Have it preheated. Stick this in. It's probably going to cook for around 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to put it in the toaster oven. I'm going to have set it to a little bit above that, and we'll see as it starts to cook if we have to cover it or not to make sure it doesn't burn. So let's head to doing that. So here I am with my trusty Cuisinart TOA 60. Love this device. Actually had one break down on me, and the company sent me a new one. So thank you, Cuisinart/Conair. Yeah, couldn't live without this, especially for the oven fries are amazing. So it's an air fryer, it's a toaster, it bakes, it broils, it's got space. It's not on right now, so I'm not burning myself. And it's ready for this lasagna. Now, I'm afraid, because I haven't tried baking lasagna in there before, it's going to splash all around. I have it down at the lowest rack, and I'm going to be putting aluminum foil on the sides, just in case we have some spillage. Wouldn't want to get on the heating elements. So I'm going to slide this in carefully. Got it set for a little over 350. This is sort of a dial that moves around. And I've got it set for bake. It can bake and air fry, but I'm going to see how it works right now for baking. And I'm going to set this right now first for 20 minutes. And I'll see how it's doing right there. I'm going to test it by putting in a fork and seeing how the noodles are doing. As far as everything else, I'm sure everything else is going to cook, and some of the vegetables are cooked already anyway. So, tofu, I've seen people eat tofu raw. I haven't tried it yet, but pretty sure it's still good in this state that I could eat it. So, let's get things rolling. Alright, so it's almost done for the first 20 minutes. I'm going to open this up and see what we're looking at right now. Ooh, oh, there we go. So, cheese is a little bit crusty. I'm going to take a fork, I'm going to stick it in, see if it, ooh. So the fork's not going through. Tells me that it needs to cook a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do now, because the top's exactly the way I want it, is to take, if I can find it, yeah. And I'm just going to completely cover this in aluminum foil without burning myself. There. So now, it's going to be going on for, I'm going to do about 15 more minutes. Of course, ooh, hold on a second. Guess I should fold this down. It looks like it wants to fly up to the ceiling on top. Here's the best thing if you want to do this sort of thing. Work with 2 forks or burn yourself. I know you don't want to burn yourself. By the way, right now my house smells like paprika and Italian seasoning. And that's not a bad thing. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm folding up on the sides, which is perfect if you have the bottom that I put in previously. There we go. Go. 15 minutes. I'll see you then. Alright, so I checked after 15 minutes and a few places were soft, a couple other places still kind of tough. Put it in for another 15 minutes. Now I'm going to check this. So far that's 50 minutes. And surprisingly enough, or not surprisingly, that's what it said on the box. 50 to 55 minutes that it would take. I thought my little toaster oven would be a little bit more efficient or quicker, but I did turn up the temperature a little bit too. Right now it looks pretty soft. A few places seem, I don't know if it's this sauce or, yeah. I think it is great. So I'm just going to let this sit in here in its own little juices and stew a little bit more. I never like to take things out and eat it when it's completely hot and have to wait 15-20 minutes for it to cool down a plate. Let it cool down a little bit in here. It'll continue to cook a little bit more, and probably about 10 more minutes, I'll be ready to eat, plate up. So, see you then. All right, we're all done. I've already cut this. I did it so I have 3 this way and I have 3 this way. And I'm going to take out the middle piece, which I hope I can do without it all falling apart like most lasagnas. Almost, almost. All right. See those layers? Yeah. Of course, always having to go back in to get the rest. And there we have it. And it's still piping hot, and I'm afraid I might burn myself, but I'm going to see if I can find one little piece. I'm going to try this tofu ricotta. Blow on it. Just remember that time I burnt the top of my mouth, my tongue, and how long it took to survive that. Get back to normal. Wow, not a really strong flavor, but it tastes actually really good. Well, thank you, Simnett Nutrition, for having an episode where you talked about making this and showing us how good it could be. And of course, if you like this video, look at the others, and subscribe. Please subscribe, like the video, and yeah, I'll be back with hopefully more delicious recipes, and try this for yourself, but of course it's going to take 15 minutes. So if you're in for the long run, then you're going to have a good treat. So see you later.